Hey, it's Jen Vax with YourColorStyle.com. Does coloring your hair change your color type? And my immediate response is, it depends. So let me explain a little bit. And by the way, I will preface all of this with saying that if you want to color your hair, go for it. This is just, if you're asking if it changes your color type, I'm going to give you some guidance. But this doesn't mean, by the way, that you shouldn't. Because by the way, even recently, I just colored my hair pink. And that was a really interesting thing to do. And I'll share a little bit more about that just because was not in my color palette at all. So your hair is a pretty dominant feature of your coloring, right? It's what you see. And so it does, the color of your hair definitely has a lot to do with your color type. Now, coloring your hair, in my opinion, does not automatically change your undertones. It's not like you suddenly go from having warm undertones to cool undertones or from cool to warm. That's really not what happens when you color your hair. So my advice to you is that if you're going to color your hair, to keep it within your spectrum, if you will. So if you are warm, keep your hair warm. And if you are cool, keep your hair cool. If you have cool undertones and you color your hair a golden color, it makes things really hard to make all your clothes and colors work, because now you've got this conflict going on. You know, it's all about harmony and balance. And you have a unique coloring and tone that aligns with a certain color palette, if you will, that if you go the opposite direction with your hair, it's going to make it really hard because now you don't fit really anywhere. Okay, and so it's not like you suddenly change your undertones or change your color type, you just made it really hard on yourself. So for example, for me, I'm bright, warm, and light hair, skin, and eyes. I wear brighter colors and I have warm undertones. If I color my hair jet black with like a cool blue undertone, it's the opposite of me, and it will make it really, really hard to find colors that go with my hair, which is now so dominant on me. Plus, it's not going to work. It'll be just too much. Now, what if I went darker? So my natural hair color is like probably a muddy blonde, light brown. It's not that much darker. So this is in the reach to go to blonde. But let's say that I wanted to go darker. I wanted to go to a medium brown. Then I would stay in the warm family. I would have medium golden brown coloring, get a good stylist. And does it change my color type? Maybe a little. I wouldn't change my color type from bright, warm, and light to bright, warm, and medium. However, it does increase my overall contrast and my deeper tones. That means I can wear a little bit of a higher contrast versus what I wear now, which is mostly low contrast, low to medium. My hair would be darker, so I have a higher contrast, and therefore I also can wear a little bit deeper colors because my hair is a little bit darker. Now, if I go really dark, but still stay in the warm family, I can do that. Well, what's happening now is that I've really increased my contrast, but my natural coloring is light. So now I'm kind of forcing it a little bit. It could be a lot of fun. It could be very dramatic because I have the different contrast, but that's what I would be focusing on, is that I would be wearing darker colors that balance the darker hair, probably a little bit of stronger colors, and I can have a little bit more contrast in the clothes that I'm wearing, whether it's the patterns that I'm wearing or the contrast between me and the colors. So that's one way of looking at changing your hair color. You change your color type a little bit, but not that much. Let me give you another example. Let's say that you are soft, cool, and medium. So that individual usually has lighter eyes, skin, not always. I'm just giving you an example, and kind of a gray blend, a soft gray blend. Everything's kind of soft and kind of muted and grayish in general. If that person were to decide to color their hair a bright red, that becomes dominant. And because it's a bright color on their head, you now kind of change your color type. You kind of push yourself over into the brighter colors because you need to balance this brighter hair that you now have. It's all about balance. And so what I would recommend, that if you are someone that fits in that category, that you are soft and cool and you want to have brighter red hair, stick with cool colors in your hair. Get a good stylist. Don't go strawberry blonde, warm, because now you've got this weird conflict, and you didn't suddenly have warm undertones. You still have cool undertones, but now you've got this warm hair that's gonna be really challenging to make everything work. I hope that makes sense. The same is true if you lighten your hair. So if you have, let's say, a medium to dark brown hair, and you either you highlight it or you bleach it so it's much lighter, same thing is true. Stay in your color family, so stay in warm or stay in cool, but that will lower your contrast, and some of the darker colors that you normally wear might feel a little different. Okay, so your contrast is changing more than anything. Now let's talk about the last. Well, not the last. There's two things I actually want to say before I end this video. One is when you go really, really extreme. So even though you stay in the family, so let's say that person I described with the gray blend really wants to go back to the dark, dark hair they used to have when they were 20. And I think that might be a little bit of a mistake. Not that you shouldn't try it. It could be super fun, right? But your natural coloring is this soft, lighter tones. And when you go super extreme like that, it's going to be harsh. And it might even age you a little bit. So be careful of that. You know, I'm not saying you shouldn't color. If you want to cover your gray, you totally should. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. But try to keep in the same range of where your hair is now, even if you're covering the gray. And the last thing that we'll talk about is coloring your hair that's not a typical color. So I went pink. It was a very bright pink when I first did it. It was a little cool. I'm very warm. I have very warm undertones, warm hair, warm eyes, and I have this bright pink. And I honestly, it was super fun. Did it go with my overall coloring? Not really. And it didn't go with my clothes either. You kind of, when you do something like that, you kind of just have to just say, this is fun. I did it. It's what I'm doing, and not worry so much about whether or not everything's going to coordinate. But when it softened and it kind of became like a rose gold, then it was really fun because it kind of started to come back to that warm pink for me, and everything was different with when I was wearing clothes, but it was also a lot of fun. So if you're going to do something like that, you're going to add in an unnatural color, I'll say, into your hair. That's a different kind of mindset. You're not doing that to coordinate. You're doing that because it's fun. You want to try something new. I found it very empowering to have pink hair, and I want to do it again. I really, really enjoyed it. It was really fun. But does it go with all of my colors? No, it didn't. And you have to just kind of go, either I really care or I don't. And by the way, most people approach me complimenting me on my hair because it was so fun. And I think a lot of people, kind of wish that they did it, like did something different and unexpected. And absolutely no one walked up to me and said, oh, your shirt doesn't go with your hair, right? So if you really want to do something fun like that, just do it. Just do it and own it and be you. Express yourself in any way you want. And after all these guidelines, if you still want to color your hair jet black or go platinum white or platinum blonde, then do it. I'm just giving you some guidelines because people mostly ask me, how does it affect my color type? And it might. But otherwise, express yourself the way you want to express yourself, whether it's all natural, a crazy color like pink, or just, highlights or go darker. Do you. I'm Jen Bax, and thanks for watching. Are you trying to figure out what your color type is so that you know what colors are most flattering on you? You hear me talk about bright and soft, warm and cool, but these terms may not mean a lot to you if you don't know your color type yet. So take the free class, 3 Steps to Discovering Your Best Colors. Visit yourcolorstyle.com/free. The free class is the color analysis quiz reimagined. Take the free class today, and it will walk you through the 3 steps to discovering your most flattering colors. And yes, it's free. Visit yourcolorstyle.com/free. I'm Jen Vax, and thank you so much for watching.